What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, joined by my co-host, Alex Wilson. How about those New York Knicks beating the Philadelphia 76ers in 6 games? That was an awesome ending to the playoff series last night. Man, I wish we could talk about the New York Giants winning awesome playoff games in such fashion, but alas, here we are talking about the very bad New York Giants who just made the 6th overall pick in the NFL draft and are now rebuilding their offense for the upcoming 2024 season. But there is one silver lining here in this offense. If you take a deeper look at it, the Giants have built this unit to excel in one specific department. It's a little niche, but we do want to talk about it today. The Giants' ability to create yardage after the catch based on the personnel that they have in their receiving core. They have a few wide receivers that you get them the ball in space, watch them go off. They have some playmakers who can just make plays, create yardage after the catch, and could add a whole lot of dynamic ability and explosiveness to this New York Giants offense this upcoming season. This is one of those things that when you have an offense with receivers who make a lot of yards after the catch and create plays with the ball in their hands, it can mask a lot of deficiencies from the offensive line, from the quarterback situation, because at this point, all you have to do, just get the ball into the hands of the playmaker. They don't have to be accurate passes downfield. They don't have to be deep bombs and deep shots. You can literally throw a screen pass to some of these guys, or just a drag route, quick slant, something easy, and watch them pick up first downs all on their own. That's one of the things that gets me so excited about this upcoming season for the Giants and the offense that they're building. They really do have some talented playmakers and guys who can make plays all on their own without the help of a QB or an offensive line or a scheme, anything like that. So I'm excited to go ahead and dive into that and talk about these, in particular, 3 playmakers that we see, but really just all the Giants playmakers and their ability to make yards after the catch. But before we dive into all that, make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Ring the bell so you don't miss an episode. And comment your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you listen to Apple or Spotify, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Go ahead and follow us on all of our social media channels at Fireside Giants. But without further ado, Alex, how are you doing today, my friend? And how are you feeling about the New York Giants playmakers' ability to make yards after the catch?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Got a haircut, feeling like myself again. Been a couple days. I was getting the afro growing in, so I'm happy to be back to full strength here, and definitely excited to talk about these Giants guys. And you know, this team is going to be a lot different in 2024. At least the offense is. I think this transition away from Saquon Barkley and towards Malik Neighbors is going to surprise a lot of people in terms of this offense is not going to rely on the running back position anymore. The running game is going to be a complement. You know, obviously it's an important variable in any offense, but it's going to be a complement to a pass-heavy attack. Just like you would look at the Buffalo Bills and, you know, just like you would look at what Brian Dable did over there with Josh Allen, it was very much a pass-heavy attack, taking risks, being courageous, you know, making those throws. And then the running game is really a kind of change of pace situation, obviously early down stuff, short yardage situations. They're going to get creative there, but look, you're not leaning on Saquon Barkley to carry the ball 20, 25 plus times plus receptions any longer. You're not relying on a running back to take the majority of the brunt of the load. And ultimately, that's going to be a good thing because running backs are one of the most, if not the most, injury-prone positions in football. So you don't want to be leaning your entire offensive strategy on a position that traditionally gets hurt. And Saquon Barkley traditionally got hurt, or he was playing with ailments, playing with injuries. He was never at 100%. And that's ultimately just a result of the Giants putting too much pressure on him. Now, I think Malik Neighbors is going to change this entire offensive outlook. I think we're going to see much more of a focal point on scheming guys open, similar to how the Chiefs do it. They really get creative with their scheme. They get guys into space, and they let their guys run. Malik Neighbors is one of the best yards after catch guys. We'll start with him because we just drafted him, and I think he's going to be the focal point. Last year, Malik Neighbors with LSU had 1,568 total yards and 14 touchdowns. He had 589 yards after the catch, which amounted to 6.6 yards after the catch per reception. So you're looking at a player here who immediately becomes the second best YAC player on this team in terms of at the receiver position. The second one, of course, you guys have probably already guessed, being Wale Robinson. Malik Neighbors can take a slant to the house. You know, he's that OBJ electrifying kind of game breaker. He can take a slant, take it to the crib. He can take a quick out, you know, kind of shoot up field and take an extra 15 yards with him. He can attack the boundaries. He can beat guys over the top. He can stack cornerbacks very, very easily. He's a 20-year-old guy with elite processing. In terms of what he notices pre-snap against cornerbacks, whether it's man, whether it's zone, how to take advantage, how to leverage himself and his body and his frame. And obviously, you're looking at a player here who's 6 foot, 200 pounds, a little bit more room to grow. He's going to get stronger. He's going to get faster. And he's already a tremendous player who's going to bring immediate results to this Giants offense. Look, Daniel Jones next season, and this is kind of the reality for a lot of top quarterbacks or even just regular quarterbacks who have really good receivers, those receivers make the quarterbacks look a lot better, especially when it comes to guys who are elite after the catch. Think about Tua Tagovailoa. He is the perfect example of give it to Tyreek Hill and let him go to work. Give it to Jalen Waddle, let him do the work. Tua's numbers get inflated exponentially. And we know Tua is a short yardage, quick kind of processing quarterback. He gets the ball out fast, and he lets Tyreek Hill take it 60, 70 yards because he's one of the fastest players in the game. Daniel Jones is going to see his stats increase, not because he's, throwing the ball to a perfect dime, downfield 50 yards, because he's given a slant to Malik Neighbors, and he's carrying in an extra 20 yards because no one can touch him in the open field. That's going to benefit Jones a lot. It's going to benefit this offense a lot. But let's get one thing straight, guys. Daniel Jones and Malik Neighbors, they're two separate entities. Malik Neighbors is hopefully our top receiver for the next decade. Jones will not be here for the next 10 years, most likely. Maybe not even for another 2 years, if not a year. So Neighbors is totally separate. He is going to make this offense tremendously improved and significantly improved. But, Daniel Jones is kind of a separate conversation to have. Not going to go through that, but Neighbors is going to be so essential to the way the Giants build this offense because of what he can do in the open field, because of what he can do to beat cornerbacks right off the bat. His release package is tremendous. Anthony, what do you think about Neighbors, how they will get him involved, and the importance of his abilities after the catch?
I mean, getting the ball in Malik Neighbors' hands is a winning formula. If you watch the way that he played at LSU, there were so many opportunities for him to just make plays all on his own. They would give him a lot of screens. They would give him a lot of quick slants. He's really good on those curl routes. He just kind of runs up 10 yards and stops. A lot of timing routes were built into that LSU offense to really simplify things for Jaden Daniels, and he and Malik Neighbors had perfect timing and synergy. Ball would be out on time. Malik Neighbors catches it, and oftentimes you would see him catch one of those curls, break 2 tackles, and make what should be an 8-yard reception a 15-yard reception. And it's little plays like that that really make you excited about Malik Neighbors. It's that added ability to do things. And if you want to talk about his ability to run in space and make guys miss, he forced 30 missed tackles this past season. Alex, this stat is really cool. 303 yards after contact. That's like a running back number. 303 yards after being hit with the ball and continuing to run. That is awesome. 0.31 missed tackles per reception in his career, ranking in the 99th percentile according to PFF. That basically means that on every 3 receptions, he's breaking at least 1 tackle. The guy is a monster. You just give the ball to Malik Neighbors and watch him go. One of the things that I love about him, he's very physical. I think this is something that not enough Giants fans realize. Yeah, I know he played a good bit in the slot. I know he's very shifty and he's a quick route runner. That don't take away from his physicality, though. He is 6 feet. He is 200 pounds. He's pretty stocky. He's well built. When the ball is in his hands, he is tough to bring down at the catch point. He can go up there and he can pluck the ball out with contested grabs or with contests all over him and make those grabs anyway. So Malik Neighbors, man, just an all-around weapon and skill set that he provides to this team. He's going to be able to do a lot. You turn on the film, there are some plays where he'll just catch a little stop route in the middle of the field. Gone. 70 yards up the sideline. Don't even know how he made it to the sideline, but he makes it to the sideline and then he's gone. Very fast player, 4.35 speed, very explosive player. 40-inch vertical jump, something like that, something crazy. The guy is just an absolute playmaker. Give the ball to Malik Neighbors and watch him go. He is one of those players that no matter who is throwing him the ball, he is a little bit idiot-proof in that sense. And that's not me calling Daniel Jones an idiot. That's just me saying any quarterback could throw the ball to Malik Neighbors on a quick screen, and Malik Neighbors will give you a bunch of yardage on your stat total as the quarterback because he's just going to make plays after the catch and rack up yardage. So very exciting player, somebody that I can't stop praising. Every episode that we do, Alex, I find a way to talk about Malik Neighbors and just profess my love for him and talk about how talented I really think he is and how much of a game changer I think he's going to be for the Giants. But let's talk about a player that's already on the New York Giants, Alex. I want to talk about Wale Robinson, but first, let me get something straight here about Jalen Hyatt. I know you and I were talking about this before we started recording. We did post a similar topic of discussion on our Instagram to this episode, and we talked about 3 players that are great yards after the catch monsters. But then a lot of people in the comment section started complaining because Jalen Hyatt was left off that list. And I do want to clarify, guys, as good and dynamic as Jalen Hyatt is as a deep threat, he has not proven to be any sort of a weapon in the NFL after the catch so far. He didn't catch very many screens. He barely caught anything underneath. He only totaled 53 yards after the catch in 2023. This is not a player that you make it a priority to get the ball in his hands in space. This is a guy who you make it a priority to send him on these deep routes, bomb it to him. Hopefully he catches it in stride, and that's where he creates yards after the catch. But he's not a guy that you throw a bunch of drag routes and slants to and he makes people miss. He forced 1 missed tackle in 2023, only forced 8 through his entire 2022 season at Tennessee. So again, Jalin Hyatt, I just want to clarify, while we do like his talent and we see him having a lot of ability as a deep threat, and maybe he can create yards after the catch on some of those deep bombs that he catches in stride, getting him the ball in space is not going to be a priority for the New York Giants. He's not a tackle breaker. He's not a YAC machine. But Wale Robinson, on the other hand, 55% of his yardage last season after the catch. He provided that to the offense on his own. He created the yards by himself. This is a guy that I know, Alex, you're really high on Wale Robinson. I know he's like one of your favorite players on the New York Giants. You love his game. Talk to me some more about why you think he's such a dynamic weapon with the ball in his hands.
Well, Wale Robinson is one of those players that is fearless, and I love guys who are willing to take those hits, to move the chains. We see a lot of players, like they won't catch in traffic. They will take their eyes off the ball. Wale Robinson is always open, and that's what I love the most about him. The dude is, if you ever watch his film, he's always open. The problem is the Giants haven't had any other receivers to draw attention away from the defensive backs. So now you have Malik Neighbors, Hyatt, and Darius Slayton, not to mention if, Waller stays in Theo Johnson and Bellinger, and Tyrone Tracy, they can get creative with. And I really do think that Wandale is going to be matched up one-on-one in coverage a lot, and he's going to cook them. Like, he cooks every single DB that goes up against him. As long as he doesn't get jammed, which can throw him off, and ultimately, if he gets jammed and he gets set back an extra second, he's done. He can't make up for it because the offensive line has been so bad. The Giants don't have enough time to let him recover. But he doesn't really get jammed a lot. He plays a lot in the slot. He plays in that Z. He doesn't necessarily always line up on the line of scrimmage. He always has a little bit of space to work with. So I think that does give him a little bit of an advantage in terms of winning those reps early on with his release packages. But he is so quick. He is so fast. I do believe that this is a player that's going to probably blossom a year coming off ACL surgery, a year coming off, a year just having bad offensive line support, and hopefully they'll have decent quarterbacking performance. This team is going to get a lot of production out of Wale Robinson. I do think that his abilities after the catch are, some of the best on this team, as you kind of referenced earlier. You look at what he can do. You said it before. I mean, he had 4.9 yards per reception, 291 YAC yards over just 525 yards. Like you said, about over 50%, YAC yardage there. It's of his total yards. It's like this dude just churns out yards. That's what he does. That's his role on this team. He's 23 years old. He's going into his third season. He is going to take a big step forward. I do really like him to be a key component on this team, and he has very, very good hands as well. So I do think that, if you're the Giants, you're looking at him saying, you want to get some extra yards early on in drives, get him the ball. First down, second down, let's not always run it. Play action, quick throws to Wandale. Let him operate in space. He will churn out those yards for you. I think he should be one of those early down guys, but don't discount his ability to convert first downs either. He is very, very reliable. As I said, always open. If the Giants can get the ball where it needs to be, and they got the routes down, this is someone that is going to be a very productive receiver. And with opposing defenses and safeties always eyeing Malik Neighbors, with so much attention going his way next year, most likely, the rest of the team is going to benefit. Wandale in the slot. The slot cornerback is one of the most difficult positions, and there's not that many great ones, not that many capable of stopping a player with his agility. So I do think I like him. By the dip on Wandale right now, this dude's going to blow up next year.
No, 100%. I totally do agree with you. He should be the Giants' number 2 wide receiver, especially with Darius Slayton kind of hanging in flux here. Also, shout out to Darius Slayton, a very underrated yards after the catch player, because there were some plays over the past few years where he caught, I remember in particular, an out route versus the Houston Texans. It was almost picked. Slayton got under it. He catches the ball, turns up the sideline, and he was gone for a touchdown. I think that was a 50, 60-yard play. And he has a few of those. There's been a few times where Slayton catches one and just breaks loose. and create some massive run after the catch. So Slayton also is a guy that you have to keep in mind as someone who can make plays after the catch, but Wale Robinson in particular, I mean, he did have 11 screens that he caught last year, created 63 yards after the catch on that one, but it's really when you give him the ball in that short to intermediate range, mainly on those drag routes, those hitch routes, you just feed him there and let him create the yardage on his own. 205 yards after the catch in the 0 to 9 range, and if you really even take it further, he had 43 receptions on those 0 to 9 yardage receptions, Alex. 22 first downs on those 43 receptions. So that tells you he's catching the ball well beyond or well before the sticks, catches it, runs, creates first downs on his own. That's why he's such an important weapon for the New York Giants offense, because Wale Robinson truly is a chain mover. He's just a guy that you give the ball to, let him create the first down. You don't have to scheme him open 15 yards downfield. Give him a quick drag route, quick screen, let him go to work, and that's one of the things that I really do enjoy about Wale Robinson's game. I think it makes him a very dynamic weapon for the New York Giants. But speaking of dynamic weapons, Alex, last guy that I do want to discuss, Tyrone Tracy Jr., New York Giants 5th-round draft pick. Now, the reason why we're going to call him a yards after the catch machine instead of just a talented running back is because he used to be a wide receiver, converted to running back. So our line of thinking here is, for the New York Giants this upcoming season, the way that they will try to get Tyrone Tracy involved in the offense as a rookie, make him your receiving back, 3rd down, 3rd and long, throw him a screen, watch him break tackles. 46 forced missed tackles on 114 carries for Purdue last season. By the way, that was his first time ever playing running back for a full season. So think about that. He plays running back for 1 year. Nobody could tackle him. Forced a missed tackle on like 30% of his carries. Just absolutely otherworldly. So the line of thinking, again, throw him some screens, get him the ball in space, make him your receiving back out of the backfield on these swing routes, wheel routes, whatever, angle routes. However you want to get him out of the backfield, get him out of the backfield to make a catch. He's got better receiving skills than most running backs because he used to play wide receiver, but he's also got that runner's mentality and that ability to break tackles like a running back. So I think Tyrone Tracy could be a sleeper in NFL fantasy drafts if you want to go that way, or just for this New York Giants offense in general. Could be one of those guys that Brian Daboll makes it a priority to get him the ball at certain times and give him the ball in space and watch him go to work. So, Alex, why are you so excited about Tyrone Tracy? I know that this is a draft pick that at first a lot of Giants fans were a little bit hesitant about, weren't crazy about the selection in the 5th round, but I know immediately you kind of looked at it as like, okay, there is something here, and I am pretty excited about this one.
Well, what I like about him is that he's kind of like, you know, underutilized a lot at the collegiate level. He's a grown man, right? He's 24 years old. He is going to be 25 next year. He's not a 20-year-old like Malik Neighbors who still has room to grow. This dude is coming in at a running back position that we know. And by the way, this couldn't be any more of a testament to the positional value trend the Giants are going in. This is like the perfect example of positional value. The Giants drafted a 24-year-old rookie. Why? Because he plays a position that will probably, you know, has a shelf life of about 3 to 4 years anyway. So by the time he's 30 years old, Tyrone Tracy probably won't even be in the NFL. If he is, he's a backup somewhere fighting for a job. Like you're trying to maximize on his window, and that's just reality, guys. Like I'm not trying to like, you know, play down Tyrone Tracy's value. It's just more so like he's 24, he's got about 5 or 6 years, and then he's probably done. Just because of the workload and the blatant just brutality of the running back position. He hasn't had that many carries. College football, he had 148 attempts, right? That's it. Only 148. Go look at Blake Corum, dude. It's like 1,000 attempts. You know what I mean? So this guy is pretty fresh. He's 24 years old, but he hasn't been beaten to death like Breece Hall or, you know, Blake Corum, those type of running backs who were just leaned on year in, year out. This is a player who stepped into a role last year as a starter for the first time at 714 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns. Went under the radar. He is and you kind of said this best when we talked about it a couple days ago, he is my Malachi Corley knockoff. That is what he is to me. I love Malachi Corley. He's going to be awesome for the Jets. The Jets are so freaking lucky, and I'm very, very jealous of them, what they have going on over there. But the truth is, Tyrone Tracy, he is a ex-receiver. They made him go to running back because that was the only way he was going to get drafted. And you know what he did at running back? He had 4.4 yards after contact. We're gonna equate that to yards after the catch, just yards after contact. We're just going to use that kind of metric to kind of give you an idea of just how good he is after that initial kind of contact. 4.4 led college football at the running back position last year, guys. This is a player who got stupendously under the radar. He has elite contact balance, which is one of the reasons I love Trey Benson. Elite contact balance, heavily. When I tell you this dude was underutilized as a receiver, I mean barely utilized as a receiver. He was a former wideout. Why was Purdue's offense not utilizing him more on third downs? I do not know. The Giants kickoffs, third downs, get this man on the field and let him cook. Please, for the love of God. I mean, this is really what he is good at. Put the ball in his hands and let him move. He had 100. Oh my God. I just am realizing this right now, Anthony. This is going to blow your mind. He had 138 yards receiving last year. You want to know how much of it was after the catch? 129. Almost every single yard he had as a receiver was after the catch last season. So, take that and run with it, man. Third downs, get him the ball in space and let him go. Just let him run. He is a grown man. He has elite contact balance. And with the hip drop tackle being banned, you can't take him down. Like, you're going to need a big dude, you're going to need a defensive lineman, or you're going to need to have perfect form, or he's going to break that tackle and get the extra yards. He always falls forward. This is a player who I think is stupendously underrated. I think that the Giants are going to get ridiculous value out of him. I think he's going to be an instant asset to this team. It sucks Eric Gray probably gets left behind because of Tyrone Tracy's value on third downs. But this is someone that's a 5th-round pick. He's going to help on special teams too. Not just going to be a running back. He's going to help on kick returns. He's going to help in the receiving game. He's going to help on the ground. I wouldn't be surprised if he was eating into Devin Singletary's reps at some point next season, if he catches on to the playbook quick enough. So I guess that's an optimistic take. That's like the best case scenario. But I will say this, he is going to get opportunities. His number will get called. And if he produces, he's going to keep getting more share. And I think that's where I see his value at least appearing as a rookie. But I think that, they're going to get some good production out of him over the next couple seasons.
I agree with you, man. I see a lot of potential for Tyrone Tracy, and I love the numbers that you brought up there about his yards after the catch and how they pretty much compiled all of his yardage as a receiver last year. It just tells you, give this guy some screens, right? 3rd and long, you don't feel like you're able to throw the ball downfield. The defense is playing the sticks. Quick screen pass right there to Tyrone Tracy. Let him break 5 tackles and go ahead and pick up the 3rd and 15. It's totally possible. That's what his skill set is going to be early on in his career, and that's why I'm really excited about him, because screen passes seem to always fail for the New York Giants. This may be the guy who actually steps in here and starts to bring a little bit of life to that screen game for the New York Giants and create some of those plays on his own. So very excited about Tyrone Tracy, Wandale, obviously Malik Neighbors, Slayton too. He's a great player after the catch. Really just a great receiver for the Giants. Let's see how it all comes together for the New York Giants this year. Maybe this offense is putrid once again. I really hope not. That would be very disappointing. But maybe they get a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more explosive, make some plays, especially after the catch. I could see that happening. So it's going to be exciting. Of course, we're going to continue to dive into all of these players and discuss the New York Giants and all the talent that they're hopefully bringing to the table this upcoming season right here on Fireside Giants. So make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Ring the bell so you don't miss the episode, and comment your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you're listening to Apple or Spotify, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Go ahead and follow us on all of our social media channels at Fireside Giants. Without further ado, we'll catch you all on the next one. Have a good one, and let's go Giants.
Perfect.